Complete story series. I bring you trade paperbacks and single issues, and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by respective companies. We're coming to the close of a massive Injustice series, but if you're trying to jump in at the end of the series, let's recap very quickly what's happened. Everything started when the Joker tricked Superman into murdering Lois Lane and his own unborn child. In response, he murdered the Joker and decided that he wanted to create a militaristic world where everyone was forced to be a good guy. Batman disagreed, and they each picked sides, and the fighting began. They went through the Lantern Corps, magic, and a fight between the new and old gods. But now we're in the final year, and Superman is fed up with Batman constantly fighting against him. Victor Zsasz then murdered Alfred, and Batman confronted Superman, assuming that it was him. After a battle, Batman lost and was about to be arrested until the Flash grabbed him and carried him off, telling him he needed to be there for Alfred's funeral. Now the Flash is returned to the Hall of Justice to a very angry Superman. He demands to know why Flash let Bruce go, as he grabs the Flash by the throat and he lifts him off the ground. Diana and Cyborg run into the main hall, telling Superman to let the Flash go, and the Flash shouts, "Let me go!" as he vibrates at just the right frequency to throw Superman off of him. With lightning jumping off of him, he informs Superman and the rest of them that he let Bruce go to honor Alfred's legacy. And for the record, Superman didn't have Bruce Wayne. He was flat on his back. Rage consumes Superman as he launches himself at the Flash, ready to take his head off, and luckily the Flash dodges it. He then asks him if this is how he treats his friends, so Superman comes back and connects with the Flash's jaw, tossing him into a wall. He takes off, telling everyone to not come looking for him. He goes to see Iris, and she pushes him aside, confusing him. So he ends up at a bar with a man that he thinks is Leonard Snart. The guy says that he's confused and his name is Larry. They begin to talk about the regime until a noise can be heard and the Flash takes off. He makes it to the top of a building where he finds Killer Shark and Girder about to arrest Iris in the name of the regime. At the start of year 5, Superman enlisted the aid of villains to increase his numbers, for those of you who are wondering. He gets into a fight with Killer Shark and Girder as they refuse to leave it to the Flash, and in the confusion, Flash accidentally kills Killer Shark. Iris then steps forward, telling Girder to arrest her. Flash is stunned, and he tries to tell Iris that he was here to save her, but Iris and everyone that they are arresting tell Flash that he is one of the regime. He isn't here to save anyone, so the Flash grabs Iris and runs off. He takes her to a rooftop where he asks her why she's doing this, and she asks him if he remembers promising her that he would stop Superman if Superman went down the wrong path. Flash tries to argue that it's not that simple, and Iris tells him that it is. It takes a willingness to accept the consequences. Then she reminds him about a situation 5 years prior, when Superman and Wonder Woman stopped Galaxor. They crushed the man's spine for protesting their presence in his country, and the Flash stood by watching. Well, that man committed suicide 3 years before this moment. She then explains that the Barry that she knew would give his life to save one person, and he just isn't the man that she thought he was. He brought Iris back, and then he arrested her with Girder and returned to Superman. Superman asked him if he was committed to the cause, and he thought back to Batman asking him if he would be willing to go back in time and change things, and then he thought about what Iris said, and he told Superman he was committed. But Batman started a new plan to hopefully end this once and for all, to get the entire planet against Superman. He broke into the Hall of Justice using Hawkman as cover, and he kidnapped Cyborg and pulled footage out that he was storing. The footage of Superman using his heat vision and killing 200 people who were supporting the Joker. As they hacked into the worldwide network to spread it across the globe, Raven returned to the regime to cause a worldwide blackout to keep the regime from being toppled. Once the regime saved Cyborg, Superman demanded that he delete his entire database to prevent the information from ever being leaked again. With his options of the Flash going back in time and of spreading the world of Superman's evilness shot down, Batman approached Lex Luthor, since Lex Luthor is secretly a double agent, and he informs him that he is out of options. He tells Lex that he has a weapon that can defeat Superman, but the problem is that this weapon is locked up with a safeguard that requires the members of the Justice League to unlock it. Lex looks at him, the members of the regime, and then he ponders the problem, and he looks at the Bizarro clone. This is the answer, Bruce. Your twisted clone. Not exactly. We need the Justice League to turn on your weapon. But who says they have to be from this Earth? You want to abduct parallel universe members of the Justice League and use them to unlock the weapon? Pretty much. Well, how can we even do this? Easy. Star Labs has been keeping track of alternate worlds for years, and I've been siphoning off the Flash's Speed Force energy since all of this started. Not for this purpose, but we have it. What we need, Bruce, is a device that can turn that energy into something that we can use. A mother box. Yes, and Star Labs has the only one. So the most heavily fortified location the regime has. I have an idea. The idea that Batman has requires him to head out to Indonesia to meet with a man that we haven't heard from. Deathstroke. he convinces Deathstroke to have a last hurrah, a suicide mission that only he can complete. So, Deathstroke climbs up the side of a cliff and drops a teleportation device inside of the building, which teleports him past the front gate. Then Deathstroke drops the 2 guards in his path and walks into the storage room with lots and lots of boxes. But once he finds the mother box, the rest of the guards arrive and he drops every last one of them, calling the situation easy. Then, he finds himself up against Metamorpho. Meanwhile, over in the regime's prison where Victor Zsasz is being kept, Zsasz has been murdered and the cameras were shut off. But who did it? Damian Wayne stood over Zsasz, demanding to know which cut was from Alfred, and then he took his vengeance out on the man for killing his friend. Back with Deathstroke, he gets beat around a little bit, but as he puts it, Metamorpho talks too much, and he drops even him. He walks over to the mother box and he downloads the schematics, just as more guards arrive. He drops those guards, but it was enough time for Cyborg and Raven to arrive and capture him. Luckily, he sent a full schematic of the mother box to Bruce and Lex, and they can just rebuild it. Their plan is about to come together. Meanwhile, on another Earth, another world, one where things went how they were supposed to. A world where Batman and Superman are friends and they're both heroes. Alfred walks out to celebrate his 75th birthday. Everyone is here at the party, from Jim Gordon working at the grill to Barbara Gordon back in her wheelchair. Even Oliver Queen is alive. On this world, Lex Luthor is a villain and he planned a massive attack on Metropolis. Every villain working together, it'll be genius. And the entire Justice League heads off for their mission, all working together as a team. But while they begin to battle the teamed up villains, Batman realizes something and goes to Arkham to see if the Joker is in his cell. And of course, he isn't. Over in Gotham, Joker and Harley are driving an ice cream truck prepared to launch the Joker's latest evil plot, a nuclear bomb in the middle of Metropolis. Harley carries the big bomb with the Joker to the middle of the park, but while this is going on, Batman tracked everything and figured the whole mess out, and he teleported into the park next to them. All of the superheroes begin to soar into the park to stop the Joker, and as he's about to press the button to detonate this bomb, something odd happens. A blinding white light goes off and everyone vanishes. Back in the universe of Injustice, things are about to come to their conclusion as Catwoman approaches Superman to inform him that if he promises to not harm Bruce, she will tell Superman about Bruce's secret base. After everything that's happened, and so many people have died, Catwoman just wants this to end. Meanwhile, in Batman's base, him and Lex are watching the heroes from the other universe in their fight, and Lex tells him that they need to isolate the heroes and teleport them after they handle the villains. Batgirl and Batwoman run in and tell Bruce Superman is on his way, and everyone hears a kathoom as he begins knocking, and the wall comes down as he shouts, "Batman!" Lex teleports out to keep his cover. Batgirl and Batwoman run over to the interdimensional teleporter to get the new heroes here. And Batman, he steps out so that he can face off with Superman and distract him. Once Superman sees Batman, his eyes glow red and he lunges at Batman. Back with Batgirl and Batwoman, they look at the console that they were operating, only to see that it has been fried by Superman shooting blindly into the base. So they figure they're gonna have to operate it manually. Superman slams Batman into the wall, telling him, no more plans, no more tricks, nothing! And he throws him through a wall. Realizing that they're going to need more time, they radio Batman to tell him to stall. So as Superman stands over the beaten Batman with Hal Jordan and Diana there, he tells him, "Face it, Bruce, it's over." So Bruce stands up. "I hear you, Clark. Maybe I can accept that it's over. But if you're wondering if I think it was all worth it, I don't know. I do. It was worth every ounce of pain, every drop of blood, because the world is safer with the regime than without it. You've enforced peace on this world, taken guns and bombs out of the hands of every citizen, but along with that, you stole their freedom. No! I've made them safer. This is what mankind needs. It's a police state. Clark, I'm so sorry for what the Joker did to you. You've lost so much, more than anyone should have to bear. But deep down, the Superman that I know must understand that killing him was wrong. An appropriate show of force to avoid war. You were willing to destroy the entire nation of Atlantis. You slaughtered Ganthet and most of the Green Lantern Corps. And this is your show of force? The blood of Oliver, Dinah, Renee Montoya, and Qatar. All on your hands, Clark. And Alfred. No sense in denying it now. Superman doesn't respond to that last remark, causing even Diana and Hal to look at each other in shock. Meanwhile, while Batman is talking to him, Batwoman knows what she has to do. The only way the teleporter is going to work is to bypass the damaged council and sacrifice herself in the energy field. So she gets ready. But back with Batman and Superman, Batman asks him, "Clark, is this the world your parents envisioned when they sent you here? Do you think they wanted you to rule with an iron fist? Would Jor-El be proud? Or would he feel like Jonathan and Martha Kent?" Superman slaps Batman so hard that he knocks off his cowl, ashamed to see their son, the dictator. And then he grips Batman's throat, a death squad at his side to carry out his dirty work. And that's when Superman realizes what is going on. Batman is distracting him, and he races through the base into the teleportation room, shouting, "What is this?" Just in time to see the system go off. He sees Batwoman doing something, so he fires his heat vision at her in full blast, disintegrating her. But it's too late. The plan worked. The device ended up teleporting the regime all over the planet, far away from the base, but it also scattered the Justice League from the alternate universe. And as Joker looks up, he saw that he was in a different kind of metropolis, and so did Batman. And that's it. The comic series is now complete, and the storyline goes into the video game officially. That's why the ending seemed a little lackluster. We didn't get a giant final fight because technically the video game is a giant fighting game. Now, if you want to know the plot line to the video game, we've gone ahead and posted the video which explains everything that happened in that video game over on our gaming channel, Eligible Monster. There you can find video game comic books, video game